Greetings, Swamp Foxes. This is Troy Newham, author of 2084, The Search for Love, Hope, and Faith, available on Amazon.com. And this week's message for Moses is going to be about power grabs and lying. You know, I've heard so many people say things along the lines of, well, those are just campaign promises. They don't really mean them, and you shouldn't really expect them to deliver on them. There's just stuff they have to say in order to get elected. One, that's very cynical, and now's a good time to be cynical. But two, why do you want to defend that? Right? What you're basically saying is, look, everyone else in the general population are idiots. And the politicians are so much smarter than us that they should say whatever they need to say to get elected, and then they should do what they think is right. But whatever they say shouldn't mean anything. It's just words coming out of their mouth, right? I mean, that's really what you're saying. You're saying that they should lie because people are stupid and they can't understand the real issues and the consequences of things, so it's okay to lie to them. And I totally disagree. And it's very clear that Obama had to have known that he was telling a lie. It's impossible to think otherwise. Even if you want to go with he's grossly incompetent, fine, he's grossly incompetent and he is a liar. Those are not mutually exclusive, but he most definitely and certainly lied to you. After 9/11, I was actually a supporter of George Bush. And, you know, Colin Powell held up the little vial or whatever that was supposed to be and said, we need to go into Iraq. I was like, well, crap, I guess we gotta go into Iraq. But then they didn't find mass destruction, they didn't find all this, they didn't find everything. And then it occurred to me, you know what? He lied. And from that point on, I no longer supported the man. Why? Because he did the one cardinal sin in my book. He lied to me. I'll forgive most anything. Don't you lie to me. And we all know this. Growing up, when you told a lie to your parents, did you get in more trouble for the thing or for the lying? Almost always the lying, unless the thing was, you know, killing someone or something. But generally speaking, the lying is what gets you in trouble. And that's why you see Obama's approval ratings dropped from 52% down to 39% in just over a month. Why? Because people don't like being lied to, and he clearly lied to us. Then you come up to the Senate, right? They do away with the filibuster rules. Well, he has to be able to appoint judges. 51%. You know, the founders loved gridlock. They said, look, the system that we're putting in place, there are going to be good laws that get shot down that don't get implemented. But trust us, for every one bad law that gets prevented is worth 10 good laws that get prevented. Trust us on this. And they're absolutely right. I really believe that someone could get elected if they say, you know what, I'm going to start repealing federal laws. Because you don't need federal laws generally. You know, unless it's happening across state borders, federal laws are meaningless. States can handle every single law. You can have state laws against carjacking, against kidnapping, against all kinds of stuff. You don't need the federal government to have all these laws. And honestly, you don't need United States-wide regulations. Georgia can say, okay, we will allow this much pollution. California can say, well, that's way too much pollution. We want a lot less. And you can have different states and they can all compete on that right mix. And you don't need a federal government telling everyone how they ought to live their lives. And what the Senate is doing, basically, you have to look at it and say, well, why are they doing this? Republicans are eventually going to get the Senate at some point, and they can do all this stuff in reverse. Either one of two things. Either one, they believe that they have a chokehold on the growing population, the fact that minorities and women tend to support Democrats, and so that they will retain control. Or two, they feel like their brand has gotten so damaged in the last few months that they have to try to ram anything they can get through. And I really believe it's the second one, because it makes no sense, because the Republicans can turn around and do the exact same thing next time, and you want a filibuster. As the man said, everyone wants to do away with the filibuster when they're in power, but when they're the minority, all of a sudden the filibuster is a sacred act. And, you know, I don't want the Republicans to use this new 51 rule. I want them to run in 2014 and 16 saying that the Democrats took away a measure of checks and balances. They tried to grab power for themselves. We want to undo that. Even if we are in power, the minority power should be able to stop bad law and bad appointments. Just like this lady they're trying to put in charge of the Fed, who says, and I can't quote, but who has said that in order to fix the economy, just keep the printing presses running 24/7. That is her economic policy. That is her monetary policy. It's called hyperinflation, and everyone who's ever had high school economics before they started teaching it for some stupid reason should know that printing money endlessly causes nothing but damage. And being able to block that kind of appointment is extremely important. And that is where I stand on things between the lying and the power grabbing. And not a very entertaining video this time around. Nothing pithy or funny. Just cold hard facts about people who lie to you and people who grab power for themselves. Anyway, read 2084, all about the government lying to you and grabbing power for themselves. It's a good book. It's prophetic. And read War Journal, my revenge and self-loathing novel. Also very good. Long live the Constitution, and signing off.